Right guys, welcome back to another CrosseMaths lesson. Okay, this morning we're going to be doing rounding to significant figures. What I'd like you to do is pause the video now, have a go at the challenge grid. It's worth 18 points altogether. Remember, anything from 12 to 15 is really good. It's all about how much you improve personally each time. Pause the video, have a go. Right guys, hopefully you had enough time to have a go at that. Okay, what we're going to do, I'm going to go through each one as normal. Okay, mark whatever you've done. Okay, whatever you've done, I don't mind if you got it wrong. Don't just write the answers in when I do it. Mark whatever you've done. Okay, so I've got 3945 divided by 5. 5 doesn't go into 3, so I put 0 at top, carry the 3 over. 5 goes into 39 7 times remainder 4. Goes into 44 8 times remainder 4. And 5 goes into 45 9 times. So my answer is 789. 2 points for the first one. Next one, I've got a bit of adding. Okay, remember everything hugs the right hand side when you're adding. So I've got 3846, 483. Any gaps, and it's going to put a 0 in. 6 plus 3 is 9. 4 plus 8 is 12. 8 plus 4 plus 1 is 13. And 3 plus 0 plus 1 is 4. So my answer is 4,329. 98 times 69, okay, it's very straightforward. Again, use whatever way you're comfortable with using, okay? Don't have to do a way that makes you uncomfortable or you don't like, okay? Use a way, but you've got to make sure it's a way you're getting it right every single time. If you're getting them wrong, then it's probably worth trying a new method, okay? 9 times 6 on the first one, I got 54. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 9 is 72. 9 times 9 is 81, so some big numbers in this one. 2 in the first slide, then I've got a 7, an 8 and a 1, which is 16. An 8, a 1, a 4 and a 4, which makes 17. And a 5 and a 1, which is 6, so my answer is 6,762. Again, if you've got a different method but got the same answer, that's fab. Right then guys, solving equations, okay? 8x minus 5 equals 43. Same thing every single time, okay, we're solving equations. We want to get rid of that minus 5 on the end. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. 8x moves straight down. Minus 5 plus 5 makes nothing. 43 plus 5 is 48. Now I want to get x on its own, so I'm going to divide by 8 to both sides. 8x divided by 8 is 1x. 48 divided by 8 just gives me 6. So my answer is x equals 6. Next, 4y times by y is 4y squared, because you've got two y's. 4y times by 3 is 12y. 4y times y is 4y squared. And 4y times 5 is 20y. Once you're there, you just combine the bits that are the same. 4y squared and 4y squared makes 8y squared. 12y plus 20y is 32y. Remember, you can't put those two together. They're completely different. It's impossible, okay? You can't combine them. Okay, last, a little more simplifying, okay? 5a minus a is 4a. 5b plus 8b is plus 13b. So you've got to put the ones that have the same letter together. Just normal adding and taking away, okay? These two won't go together. This is your final answer, okay? 4a and 13b are different things. Apples and bananas, they won't go together. So you leave it like that. 65% of 160, always find 10% first. To find 10%, you just got to divide by 10. 160 divided by 10 is 16. Then I want 65%, so I'm going to get 60% first. And then I'm going to calculate 5% and add it on. 10% to 60%, I've got to times by 6. So I do that to both sides. 16 times by 6 is 96. Okay, 5% is half of 10%, so 5% would have to be 8. Then what I do is I add up the two bottom ones. 60 plus 5 is 65. 96 plus 8 is 104. So 65% of 160 is 104. £60 in the ratio 5 to 1. Okay, so £60, 5 to 1. Add your shares at first. I got 5 plus 1 is 6 shares. Okay, 6 shares. I've got to split £60 6 equal ways. So each share is worth £10, £10 per share. If it's £10 per share and 5 people get, one person gets 5 shares and the other person gets 1 share, one person is going to get £50 and one person is going to get £10. Bit of taking away fractions, okay, you've got to make the bottom numbers the same in order to take away or add. Okay, so what I'm going to do that, I'm going to multiply them together. 7 times 3 makes 21 on the bottom of both. Okay, then I'm going to cross multiply. 6 times 3 is 18. 7 times 2 is 14. Once you're there, 21 stays on the bottom in the answer. 18 take away 14 is 4. Right guys, what I'd like you to do is mark whatever you've done so far. Okay, if you got it right, that's brilliant. If you didn't get some right, that's okay. Okay, anywhere between 12 and 15 is really good. If you're getting high marks on this every single time, you need to try a harder session. Right then, so the basics of rounding to 1 decimal place. Okay, what I'd like you to do, think about this. Okay, if you do understand this and you're good at this, okay, that's important because I want you to know this before we do today's session. Now, the way I like to think of this, I always count across one space. Because I'm doing 1 decimal place, I count across 1 for the decimal point and I draw in something I call a magic line. It seems a little bit childish, but it's important to draw this and get this right. Okay, the number I'm going to be rounding is this number 8 by there. Okay, I've got to work out if this number by here is 5 or more. Is it 5 or more? No, it's 4 or less. So what happens is the 8 just stays still, it doesn't round to anything, so your answer is just 4.8, and because we're doing it to 1 decimal place, we just chop off everything after the magic line. Everything after the magic line just goes, so my answer is 4.8. Same thing on the next one, count across 1, draw my magic line in, the 8 is the number we're rounding. Okay, let's check this out, 5 or more. Is it 5 or more? No, it's not, so I'm just going to chop it off again, my answer is still 4.8. Same thing on the next one, I'm going to draw my magic line in, look to the right of it. Okay, this number is 5 or more. It is. So what I'm going to do is that 4.8 rounds up to a 4.9. Okay, what I'd like you to do, guys, that's the first 3 examples. Get those copied down, and then I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at the ones at the bottom. So pause the video, get the 3 examples at the top down, and then have a go at the ones at the bottom. Right then, so should be all done. Okay, magic line goes in. That 7 is 5 or more, so it's going to go up to 4.9. Magic line goes in. That 6 is 5 or more, so it's going to go up to 5.3. That 6 is 5 or more, so what happens is you add 1 onto the 9, so it goes up to 2.0. Okay, that's an important point to take into account on that one. Okay, same thing if you're 2 decimal places, okay? You're just counting across an extra space and drawing your line in. So I'm going to count across 1, 2, line goes in there this time, and the 3 is the number I'm rounding. Look to the right of my magic line. Is that number 5 or more? No, it's not, so my answer is going to be 4.83. Okay, same thing on this one, count across 2, draw a magic line in, underline the number I'm going to be rounding. Is that 2 5 or more? No, it's not. So I'm going to keep it at 4.84. And then count across 2 again. Is that number 5 or more? No, it's not. So none of these ones were. So my answer is going to be 4.85. Pause the video now. Have a go at the ones at the bottom. Right guys, hopefully you got all those done. Count across 2. Draw a magic line in. Okay, this 6 is 5 or more. Okay, so I'm going to round that up to 4.88. Next one, 5.26. Okay, I'm going to round across. That is 5 or more again, so I'm going to round up this time to 5.27. And the same thing on this one, draw a magic line in. That is 5 or more, so I'm going to go up to 1.97 as well. Okay, those 3 work. Right, what I'd like you to do is pause the video for me and have a go at fitting in this table. Nearest integer, okay, just means number. Okay, it's not like a complicated word. Integer just means number. Pause the video, have a go. Those examples at the top are there to help you. Right then, hopefully that's finished. Okay, if it is, that's fab. Okay, mark whatever you've done so far. Okay, that's just rounding to decimal places. Okay, so that's like the basics that you need to know. Right then, so hopefully that's all marked up. Right, significant figures, slightly different. Okay, so I've got 1, 2 and 3 significant figures. Now significant figures, you don't count from the decimal point, you just count from the left hand side, from the first number. So on this one, I'm not going to start counting from the decimal point to do my significant figures. I'm going to start counting from the left hand side of the 4, I'm going to count over 1, my magic line is going to go in there. Okay, 4 is the number I'm going to be rounding. Is 8 5 or more? Yes it is, so this is going to go up to a 5. Okay, on this one I'm going to start counting from the left hand side of the 4 again. 1, 2 across, because there's 2 significant figures this time. The number I'm rounding is 8. Okay, I have a look to the right hand side. Is that 5 or more? No, it's not. So I'm going to keep the 8 where it is. My answer is going to be 4.8. Next one, 3 significant figures. I count across 1, 2, 3. Draw my line in. 5 is the number I'm going to be rounding. Is that 5 or more? No, it's not. So I'm going to keep the 5 where it is, and I'm going to chop everything off, leaving 4.85. Okay, so it's the same technique, but you just got to be always counting from the left with significant figures. So you're counting the numbers, not from the decimal point. Pause the video, guys. Have a go at the ones at the bottom. Right then, so hopefully that's all finished. I'm going to count across 1 again. Magic line goes in. That 8 is 5 or more, so I'm going to round that up to a 5. Next one, count across 2. Magic line goes in. That 6 is 5 or more, so I'm going to round that up to 5.3. And count across 3 now. That 6 is 5. That 7 is 5 or more, so I'm going to round that up to 1.97. Okay, if you got those right, that's brilliant. If you didn't, don't worry. Make sure the examples are down there super clear, and maybe you just need a little bit more practice. Right then, so a little bit of a kind of a challenge for it on this one. What I'd like you to do is try and connect 5 boxes in a row. Okay, if you really get this, that should be easy. Okay, the green ones are hardest ones, red are quite easy, and amber is somewhere in the middle. Pause the video, see if you can connect 5 in a row. If there's 2 of you here, see if you can play connect 4. Right then, so hopefully that's done. Okay, hopefully you paused the video and got that done. The answers you should have gotten look like this. Remember, you can rewind if you're not sure where your answers were. So, hopefully those are all marked up. Right, very last thing, okay, problem solving. A little bit of problem solving, then we're done for the day. Workout, it's nothing to do with rounding. However, what constant speed does robot B move at? At 3 p.m, 2 robots stand at opposite sides ends of a straight line, 1 kilometers apart. Okay, robots move towards each other at different speeds at 7 p.m. Robot A moves a constant speed of 0.15 kilometers per hour. What constant speed does robot B move at? They meet each other at 7 p.m. Pause the video now and have a go. Right guys, that should be all done, okay? Now it's quite an easy question, but it's very visual, okay? So you make sure you've got to draw the picture out and draw on it. Okay, I always say draw it out. Okay, it makes it so much easier, especially when you're talking about stuff. Okay, the robots move towards each other at different speeds and meet at 7 p.m. They started at 3 p.m. and those are key points, okay? Because they met at 7 p.m. and started at 3 p.m, they've been travelling for 4 hours. Now, robot A moves at a constant speed of 0.15 kilometers per hour. So he moves at a constant speed of 0.51 kilometers per hour. So he's going 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hours in. All of those bits by there are 0.15 kilometers. So altogether, he's travelled 0.6 kilometers. Okay, robot A's travelled 0.6. That means if they're 1 kilometer apart, that leaves robot B has 0.4 kilometers to travel, because they meet in 4 hours. He has 0.4 kilometers to travel in 4 hours. So in order to work out his speed, you'd have to do the distance, which is 0.4, divided by the time. Okay, 0.4 divided by 4, he would have to go at 0.1 kilometers per hour in order to meet at 7 o'clock. Because robot A went for 4 hours, he went at 0.15 kilometers per hour. So every hour he's going 0.15. That 4 of those add to 0.6. That leaves 0.4 left to travel. Okay, if it's 0.4 and it's 4 hours, he's going to have to go 0.1 an hour as an average speed. Guys, if you got that right, that's amazing. It's not an easy question, it's a very tricky question, okay? So for your 9 paper. Okay, that's brilliant. Well done for tuning in.